Check, check, testing, testing. One, two, three. Testing, one, two, three. Alright, this is a testimony. Um, this morning I stumbled. I'm gonna go over why I stumbled. Like I'm still tired. I had to pray. So you know how whenever you're praying a lot, you spiritually get tired because you're using a whole lot of spiritual energy just whenever you're praying against warfare and all that. So last night I stumbled in which I was still overcoming chastisement from God from that, and finally went to bed after praying last night. I'm not gonna say what I was. Well, I mean, it's yeah. Last night I stumbled. Last night I stumbled, and then I was praying against that. I got back up and prayed against it, but of course you're still gonna have to endure chastisement, and that's what I was enduring. So I went to sleep after praying a lot, and this morning I don't know what time it is. All I know is like the sun wasn't. I mean, the sun was coming up, but it was like light out, like uh white sky out right before it becomes like in the afternoon. The sun is normally shining bright, but it wasn't shining bright yet. And I got woke up out of dead sleep with Bell enforcement fugitive agents banging on the door. I didn't know they were Bell enforcement agents at first. See, I'm like whenever I'm sleeping, I sleep in my boxers. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I sleep in my boxers, so I'm not even fully dressed, and it takes a minute. It usually takes a bit for me to just jump out of bed, and I normally lay there for a little bit with my eyes open and or stretch or whatever else, and a lot of times I pray too. I normally get my morning prayers out while I'm laying down before I get out of bed, and they're banging on the door. And then like I was trying to make out what's being said because they're yelling as they're banging on the door, and as I was listening, I heard Bell enforcement agent, we're about to kick the door in. We're about to kick the door in. So once I caught what was going on, I jumped out of bed and got dressed real quick, like a firefighter would. I had to literally rush it. And normally I don't rush getting dressed. And whenever I answered the door, like I had to put a jacket on since I didn't have a shirt on and didn't have enough time because I didn't want them to kick the door in. I was trying to rush. So I had the jacket unbuttoned and my stomach still showing as I answered the door. And I and they walked in saying, we could have kicked the door in such and such and such and such, and they were looking for my mother. I'm not saying names. I'm not even gonna say the name of the Bell enforcement agency. I got his card. Um, they were looking for my mother's boyfriend, and I'm over here like because I'm yes, I've dealt with police before. I've been in and out of like you heard my testimony, but never in this sense to where guns are drawn and everything else, where they have rifles like pepper ball rifles and everything else out ready to shoot. I never been in that situation where the police were about to knock the door down and all that. And no, I'm not afraid. It's just like I said, I was half asleep. Normally I get up and get a cup of coffee. I didn't even have time to even get motivated when all this was happening. Didn't have time to even get out of bed and get dressed, motivated, or wash my face or nothing. I'm still half asleep when all this is happening, and my adrenaline is rushing, not out of fear and just out of because I'm not used to this. And not only that, I'm half asleep and not even motivated. My brain isn't fully functioning yet because my brain is not fully woke up yet. So I can't even talk straight or think straight to answer questions. I'm over here telling them the little bit I know that I'm able to get off my mind. Hey, I got the number here. Uh, I don't know where they're living, and because it's my mother, they're automatically assuming I'm trying to cover up for them because I don't want to get my mother in trouble. They're saying, well, your mother is not in trouble. We're just looking for him. It's like, I know that. I don't know where they're living. I'm giving you my number. Like, I can give you her phone number and all that. I don't know where they live. So, and then if you heard other testimonies, how I'm living with counterfeit churches like Catholics and all that, and people that follow after coexist a denomination that pretty much coexist with just about every denomination you can that calls himself a Christian. So I live with people like that because I have to financially, and God has me here for a reason. And this the Catholic one, old lady, she's not innocent by a long shot. Um, she's like, me and her already don't get along. Like, because if you're a real Christian, you're not gonna get along with counterfeit Christianities. Like, Protestants don't get along with Catholics. Protestants does not get along with Catholics. There's a big difference. And I'm not claiming to be a Protestant. I'm not a Catholic either. I'm more along the lines of a monotheistic or United Pentecostal, if I'm gonna put a title behind it. So I made it to the door before she did. She said, answer the door. She was already fully awake. And so she's over there lying to the officer. I'm gonna skip over some stuff so I'm not on here too long. She's lying to the officer saying that or it's not an officer, they're not police officers. It's fugitive agents. They're not police officers. They're accompanied by police officers. And saying that I'm lying. I know more than what I'm letting on about. Like, and he's over here like pushing too pretty much pushing it too hard on me, pushing all of it too hard on me, like trying to rush me and interrogate me. And I'm trying to say, well, hey, I'm giving you the information, and they're asking me the same question over and over, and I'm giving them the same answers that I'm able to get off of my head. I'm half asleep over here. I can't even think straight because I'm half asleep. Can't even get it all out, and y'all got me over here with my adrenaline rushing, my legs shaking, and everything else. Not out of fear, it's just an adrenaline rush. And I had to go back and forth to get my phone and all that because, like, I woke up out of dead sleep, not even fully awake yet. So what do you, and then they're saying, well, we got to make sure you don't call them and warn them and all that. And I was like, here, you want to hold my phone? They said no. I said, well, go in there and get your shoes on. I didn't have any shoes on. I went and got my shoes on. I went back and I guess they were talking to her as I went in here, and she must have been lying to them, telling them that I'm lying and all that. So me and her already don't get along. Um, and I went back out there, and well, he was following me in and out, and I was like, well, if y'all were in my shoes right now, you'd be looking suspicious or something like that too, with your shaking and being half asleep and all that too. You'd be looking suspicious too if y'all were in my shoes. And I'm over here talking back and forth with them, like pretty much rebuking them. So said that I'm an evangelist. I'm not gonna lie unless I have a good reason to lie. Unless I have a real good reason to lie, I'm not gonna lie if I don't have to lie. See, I understand why they think I may be lying because like it seems as if I'm just trying to cover up for my mother because she's my blood. But me and my mother barely even talk on the phone. She lives in a whole other area, and I don't even know where they live. I don't ask where they don't live in their own house. They're living with someone else, and I don't know where those someone else lives. I don't ask where people live like that. So and I can't think straight just to get a little. I could barely get the little bit of information I was able to give them out. So after they left, after they got some information or enough information, uh, Hold on. This Catholic was over here still lying to me, saying, well, like basically mocking me and all that, saying, well, at least I respect law enforcement. I respect law enforcement too. I don't respect someone falsely accusing me and painting me as a criminal without having enough evidence to back it up. I don't respect when a law enforcement officer does that. Automatically assumes that I'm being suspicious just because I have an adrenaline rush and I'm shaking because y'all done woke me up out of a dead sleep. I didn't even have enough time to get motivated. I'm not even fully dressed because I'm over here rushing just to avoid the door getting kicked in. So you would be acting like this too if you wasn't motivated and you barely experienced stuff like this. You'd be acting like it too. I don't know anybody who wouldn't be feeling some type of way or acting some type of way if something like this happened to them. And you barely experienced this, and you're just now getting up out of bed. Literally just now getting up out of. I didn't even get any coffee in me. So I'm over here rebuking her, like, cause she's over here, like, she's always mocking me, like, saying, you're a false prophet. Are you a minister? Yes, I'm a minister. How did you go to college? I said, I don't got to go to college. The disciples before us didn't go to college. They said, well, there wasn't no college back then. They were under Jesus. Well, I'm under Jesus too. He's the one who teaches me, not man. And then she started mocking me and saying, you're so full of mother effing shit, and cussing me out. And there's not one cuss word coming out of my mouth. Although I am allowing her to get in my head, and I'm getting angry and all that. There's not one cuss word coming out of my mouth. So I'm holding back as much anger, and I even let her know, like, out of anger, that, hey, 3 years ago you would be on the floor, bleeding, gushing blood out of you. 3 years ago, I would have done slapped you in your face or punched you in your mouth, and you'd be laying on the floor. She's like, are you threatening me? Nope. I'm just telling you what I would have done 3 years ago, but I'm a new creation in Christ Jesus. You mother effer, don't tell me this, you little skinny dude. And like basically she's trying to get in my head at this point. That's basically what she's trying to do. She's making me angry just so she can do something. Is what it is. She knew exactly what she's doing. She knows how to get in people's heads, and that's a witch for you right there. That's a witch. That is a witch. And I'm over here rebuking, trying to cast out devils, but the thing is, you can't cast out a devil out of someone who is willingly following after a satanic church, who is willingly following after pagan counterfeit Christianity. You're not going to be able to, if you manage to cast one out, they're just going to jump right back in them. Why? Because they're not truly right with God. You can't cast a devil out of someone who is reprobate, who has been handed over to a reprobate mind and a strong delusion. No matter how much a Bible you try to explain to them or how much you try to break it down, they will never understand it. They're never going to understand it because they have no real obedience in them to the Lord Jesus Christ. They're not truly born again. They just have this religious spirit that proclaims to be a born again believer and has this form of knowledge, form of godliness, but denies the power thereof. And it's sad because they don't know that they're denying the power thereof. They don't know what they're doing. They know not what they do because they're handed over to a reprobate mind and a strong delusion. It's sad. So naturally they're going to think that. Naturally they're going to call you names and think that you're stupid, or because they're the ones who are stupid. Like literally, what they call you is actually what they are. Like she's over here saying you're mentally retarded. You don't know no better. And this is how I know it's demons in her. Like, you're mentally retarded. You don't know no better. I'm going to pray the rosary over you. Hail Mary! Hail Mary! Praise Jesus! Praise Jesus! Hail Mary! I was like, I rebuke Mary. Mary's not no virgin. Jesus is the only mediator between the Father and man. I rebuke that fake counterfeit Mary that you worship. I rebuke them demons. She says, I'm gonna build a Mary statue, and I'm gonna pray the rosary over you. I was like, I rebuke that rosary prayer. I rebuke those vain prayers in Jesus' name, and I constantly rebuked her. But the thing is, like, it's not as effective because I'm in my flesh at this point because I allowed her to get in my head. So I'm basically stumbling at this point. I'm stumbling over her stumbling blocks, letting her get to me. At the same time, knowing that she is causing these stumbling blocks, knowing that she's just trying to get in my head, calling me names that she knows I'm not. She knows deep down I'm not a retard, that I'm smarter than her, 10 times smarter than her. Have more wisdom in me than she ever even thought about. And these demons in her, like, or basically using that to their advantage to cause me to stumble. So basically, I stumbled to rage. I stumbled to rage. I allowed myself to be. Hold on, let's see. It says, "Sin everyday Christians." I allowed myself to be lukewarm. I allowed her to cause me to be lukewarm. She threw a stumbling block my way, and I allowed myself to let her cause me do that, rather than taking what is going on, observing what is going on, and just walking away and let her talk. So sometimes you just need to let them talk, because no matter how much you try to break stuff down and explain to them, they'll never understand if they're a reprobate and they're following after this false religion and they're handed over to a strong delusion, and you can't explain nothing to them. See, some people are not meant to understand. Some people are ordained to go to hellfire. God ordains certain people to go to hellfire after so many times of warning them. They're ordained to go to hell. And I believe she is one of those that are ordained to go to hell. That's why she can't comprehend anything. So she's gonna call me names. She's gonna conjure up witchcraft. And the thing is, she doesn't know that she is practicing witchcraft. That's the sad part about it. I would hate to be in that position right there. I don't wish that on anybody. But the reality is, that's what's on her. That's the type of spirit that is on her, and God handed her over to it. And no, you know how people say that God's an all-loving God. Yes, He is, but He is also a God of wrath, and He is also a God of hate as well. He's not just all-loving. He is also a God of hate as well, and He hates people like that. He does not love people like that. He does not love people like that. He hates people like that. If she wants the love of God in her, she needs to humble herself, examine herself, let go of the pride, and realize that she needs to examine herself. Stop acting all high and mighty and examine herself and let God work on her, but she thinks she's already following God, when really she's following after this counterfeit Jesus, the hippie Jesus with the long hair. False Jesus. Whenever you pray to the dead saints and you pray to Mary, you're not praying to them. It's actually demons responding to you. Just like if you ever seen a family member after they died, that's not actually your family member. That's a demon, a familiar spirit manifested, basically transformed into your family member, pretending to be your family member, manifesting in the form of a family member, but it's actually a demon you're talking to. It's not your family member. So I had to go into deep prayer after we both walked away and exchanged words. I went into deep prayer. Initially, this video is actually for prayer requests, for you to pray for me in this situation, because she doesn't realize like what she's conjuring up. She's causing me to stumble in here with all this witchcraft she's allowing to be in the house, and the owner of the house has a bunch of idols. She doesn't realize what she's following, and it got all these people unknowingly praying curses over me. You know how I'm always speaking against curses on here. I really do have people praying curses over me, and it's not just people in this house. It's people who come across my YouTube channel. They pray curses over me as well. And it's even worse when you don't even know who is participating in the curses. You only know very few. I think she has dream catchers up. Dream catchers on her windows and all that, thinking that that's gonna suck in all the bad dreams. But no, it actually conjures out. It's a portal that demons jump out of, and it causes demons to come in here. It's a demon door, is what it is. It doesn't protect you from evil spirits or evil dreams. It actually allows evil spirits to come out into the open and manifest. And that's why all this stuff happened right here. So they're asking me to call my mother and ask her where she's at and all that. I said I don't want to do that because I don't want to entrap somebody. I don't want to involve myself in entrapping people. And it's not just because it's my mother. I don't want to do that to anybody. I don't want to involve myself in entrapments. I don't believe in entrapping people like that. I'd rather confront them face to face rather than entrap them and trick them. They're saying, you realize we can arrest you. What? I mean, yes, I do, but hey, I don't want to lie. I'm giving you as much information as I possibly can while I'm half asleep over here. Y'all woke me up out of a dead sleep. And eventually I said, well, here, hold on, let me go get my camera. Let me go get my camera. I didn't get much footage because already a lot of this has already happened. And initially I was gonna take them to court over this because they're automatically assuming I'm a criminal and they're forcing all this stuff on me. I was gonna take them to court over it, but eventually me and the Bell agent settled it. Like he gave me his card. He said I can text him for the body cam footage because he's wearing body cam. And I eventually text him after a while. Hey, can I get the body cam footage? Then he called me, and then we were able to work it out. I didn't get the body cam footage, but because we were able to work it out and settle it, and he says he agrees with me. He says once he went back to his car, he realized that maybe I shouldn't have pushed him that much. Is what he says. Maybe I shouldn't have pushed him that much. He got convicted in the car. He says he believes in God. I don't know exactly what type of doctrine he follows, but he says he don't follow the Catholic Church. He says, like, I explained to him, like, because he's the one who told me that she was lying, like while I was in here trying to get shoes on or trying to find my phone. She was lying to him, or she was saying that I was lying to him, that I know more than what I'm letting on. And he says that he realizes now that he should have got more of my side of the story and let me calm down, or figure out what was going, like, got more of my side rather than just listening to her. And I said, well, me and her already don't get along as it is because she's a Catholic and Catholics practice witchcraft. And he says, oh, really? I was like, yeah, you know that Protestants and Catholics, they don't go together. They don't mix. They collide with each other. And he says, yeah, me and you believe almost the same. I don't know exactly what he believes. I don't really consider myself a Protestant, but that's what the Catholics consider me to be. If I was to confront a Catholic, they're going to consider me to be a Protestant. That's what they'll call me, even though I don't consider myself that. I'm more along the lines of a monotheist and a United Pentecostal. So I was able to. He says he didn't want me to be angry with him or anything like that. I said I'm not angry. I also made known that got some people talking in the background. Um, I told him that I didn't know how to react because I'm half asleep. Didn't have enough time to even get motivated or get my brain operating correctly. Because when you wake up, like, normally when I wake up, my brain's all foggy and all that when I first wake up. I didn't have time to do anything. All this hit me at one time. So of course I'm gonna sound like I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm gonna have a different reaction because you didn't give me enough time to even get motivated. And that's what just about anybody. If you get woke up like boom, 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 like I don't know what's going on. Someone's probably breaking in. I'm probably gonna get killed. A murderer maybe at the door. I don't know what's going on. I don't have enough time to even react. So of course I'm gonna act some type of way. But I told him, well, it's all right. What I was initially gonna do with it, I was gonna file a complaint. That's what I was gonna do with the video body cam footage if you sent it to me. But I'm not worried about it, and we were able to work it out. He said he was sorry and all that. We were able to work it out. I told him I'm not angry with him. I told him I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what reaction to give, and then like Says he was sorry, and he says I shouldn't have listened to her and got more of your story too. So pray for me. This is more of a prayer request. It's not to gossip or anything like that. But I'd rather make it known in the open. Like that way other brothers and sisters can pray for me. Go in peace.